Hello everyone. Well, we're very lucky today. After a week of rain and wind, we have a lovely sunny autumn day. Lovely light, lovely mellow breeze. And I thought, well, it's a good opportunity to get out and get some more hawthorn. And I'm going to be showing you how to make some medicine with hawthorn. I have a couple of different methods. But first of all, I'm just going to talk about the magical qualities of hawthorn, because this is a really iconic tree or bush in Irish mythology and folklore. And in fact, on the landscape, if you visit Ireland, especially the west of Ireland, you will see these bushes. They're always bent over by the wind, looking like graceful dancers. And you can well believe when you see them that there is a fairy living in the tree, because that is the belief, that these trees are home to the fairies, to the Sidhe. And that is why people are very circumspect, very careful about what they do with the lone hawthorn, the hawthorn that stands alone, that iconic one that I'm telling you about, because the possibility is that there is a fairy living in the tree. So if you harm the tree, you're going to get a lot of comeback from that fairy, who will be very angry. So most people use a bit of sense and they just leave the tree alone and to live its life. Those people who are a little bit foolish and don't believe in any of that rubbish, they have interfered with hawthorns to their own cost. So the hawthorn is very much revered in Ireland, I would say, to this day, because even those people who might be a bit scornful, they wouldn't want to take the chance of causing any harm or damage, because there are too many recorded, and quite recently recorded, examples of people who have died, or they've had a terrible string of bad luck, or they've been injured after interfering with a lone hawthorn bush. You should leave them completely alone. This is a hedgerow, so it's different. These are just ordinary hawthorns, although not really ordinary. I don't mean to insult you, but they're not the fairy home. So throughout this year now, I've been collecting all the blossom. Now I'm going for the berries, and I'll be making some medicine inside. So the medicine, or the hawthorn itself, is really wonderful for the heart, in a physical way, but also in a metaphysical way. So these little hawthorn berries, if you were to make a decoction of them, they give great courage for the heart. You know, so anyone who's facing something tough in life, they need a bit of courage. Hawthorn is an ally to turn to. It's also wonderful for anyone who's been grieving, because you know, when you're grieving and you can't release that grief, you can tense up, and then your breathing becomes impaired, and then you're getting aches and pains everywhere, and the grief just seems to get worse and worse, and a heavier burden to carry. So hawthorn helps your heart to just relax and let go. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful ally in that respect. So it has thorns. So the thorns remind us that we can open our heart. The hawthorn helps us to open our hearts, but the thorns are there to protect our heart. So, you know, some people might want to open up to people and be loving towards people, but they may have had bad experiences where people have taken advantage of them, and they become wary of opening their hearts. But hawthorn helps you to have the courage to do it, and it also offers that bit of protection. So it's a really amazing plant, because we're living in these peculiar times, and what we should all be doing really is opening our hearts to other people. But you know, there is a bit of wariness about doing that, and the hawthorn can give us the courage to get over it. So I've got enough there for today. I'll put the kettle on and make a brew, and I'll show you what I'm going to do for making medicine. Okay, dogs. Come on, dogs. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen. I'm going to tell you now about the medicinal value of hawthorn. It is the best cardiovascular heart remedy you will ever come across. It's a tonic for the whole system. So that means, well, because it's in the rose family, it's very cooling and it's very astringent. So if your blood vessels have become a bit floppy and they're finding it hard to push the blood through, hawthorn will tighten. Because it's astringent, it's going to tighten it up and make them more elastic at the same time. So they can move, your blood vessels can move and expand to allow the blood to run through, but they're not floppy and weak. So it's a great tonic for practically every cardiovascular problem. So palpitations, arrhythmia, angina, which is a chest pain, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, angina, I've said angina, cholesterol. So even though it's a very highly renowned heart remedy, it's also a digestive aid because it cuts through fats. And so that leads to lower cholesterol in the blood. So what I have here is, since May, when the tree came into blossom, I collected all the blossoms and the young leaves. Lots of little baby leaves and blossoms. And that's been tincturing away since May. And I've tinctured this using the wise woman method, which is simply put it into a jar and then cover it with vodka. And that's been tincturing away since May. So I'm just going to pour about half a litre into here. And then here's my berries. And I've done this a slightly different way. I've done this weight to volume measure. So for every ounce of hawthorn berries, I added 2 ounces of vodka, which is why it hasn't quite filled the jar. I just want to see if there's any difference. Does it make it stronger, or is it the same? You can see how red the vodka has become. That's because the hawthorn berries are full of antioxidants. That's why it's so nourishing for the heart. It's an extremely gentle, nourishing remedy. So I have a litre of hawthorn tincture, and that is half berries, half blossom and leaves. They all bring their own constituents to make a fully rounded remedy. And as I was saying, it's a nourishing, toning remedy. So it passes through and out again. So it's very, very, very safe. You can take it with ordinary hypotensive medications. You have to check with your doctor first because you don't want your blood pressure to come down too quickly. So as long as you're not on blood thinners and beta blockers and things, it is safe to take, but always check with your doctor first. In Germany, this is just given as a prophylactic to anybody over the age of 50 because it is nourishing and toning, and it's going to act as a preventative. Funnel. There now. So that's a litre of hawthorn, berries, leaves and flowers. Just move that there, ready for labelling. So I'll repeat the process. We're going for half a litre of the berries, berry tincture, and half a litre of the blossom. As I was saying outside, both the blossom was in absolute abundance this year, and the berries as well. They're just, I mean, I've picked so many berries and they're still coming, they're still maturing, they're still there. And as I said, Mother Nature has a way of providing us with everything that we need. And it seems, you know, that there is a lot of, there seems to be a lot of heart issues at the moment. Lots of young people, athletic types who are suffering with heart problems. It's quite surprising and amazing that this should happen. So Hawthorn is telling us, you know, we need to we need to work to heal our hearts. On top of that, there's been so much fear the last few years that again, people's hearts are full of fear, and they need to get some courage. So Hawthorn is useful for people who need that extra bit of courage, but also people who are suffering with heart issues, which seem to be extremely prevalent these days. All the information is going to be in the show more box below. So some people don't seem to know where it is. Underneath the video, there's a little description, and then there's the words show more. If you click on that, it brings you to a box below where all this information will be. So you'll be able to make your own hawthorn tincture. You may not have blossoms at this time of year, but the berries are there to be collected, and certainly you can go and collect those. There now. And now I have to label. So I've got my 2 litres and more to press out. But before I go, I would just love to say thank you so much for all the wonderful birthday wishes that I received last week. it was so unexpected, and I'm so appreciative. It was just so lovely to get so many really lovely greetings and blessings. So thank you all so much. I was very busy this week, so I haven't had a chance to reply to every comment, but I have read them all, and I really am over the moon. It was the best birthday ever. So thank you so much. And I hope your hearts are all in good shape, and have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Sunday. I hope you enjoyed today's film. If you did, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And have a look at the website danusirishherbgarden.com for more information about us and about the herbal medicine courses I offer and the Wise Woman Way training. And if you go to the shop, you can find the books, the weed handbooks and other herbal goodies. And remember, we put a new film out every Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you next week.